Hey everyone, it's that time of year again. The Steam Spring Sale is upon us. With so many great games available at a discounted price, it can be overwhelming to decide which ones to pick up. But don't worry, we've got you covered. In this video, we're going to be sharing some of our top picks for the best games to get in the Steam Spring Sale 2023. From indie gems to AAA blockbusters, we've scoured through the thousands of games on sale to bring you the cream of the crop. So, sit back, grab your wishlist, and get ready to add some amazing games to your library. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a breathtakingly beautiful and emotionally engaging game. The sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest, it continues the story of Ori, a small creature on a quest to save the forest from darkness. One of the standout features of the game is its stunning visuals and dynamic environments. Each area is uniquely designed, with vibrant colors and intricate details that make the world feel alive. The music is also exceptional, perfectly capturing the tone and emotion of each scene. The gameplay is challenging but rewarding, with a variety of abilities and upgrades that allow you to explore the world and battle enemies in new ways. The story is heartwarming and poignant, with memorable characters and themes of friendship, loss, and perseverance. However, the game is not without its flaws. Some of the platforming can be frustratingly difficult, and there are occasional bugs and glitches that can disrupt the experience. Additionally, the story may feel a bit too familiar to those who played the first game. Overall, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a must-play for fans of platformers and anyone who appreciates stunning visuals and emotionally resonant storytelling. Yakuza, Like a Dragon is a fresh take on the long-running Yakuza series. This time around, the game features turn-based combat and a new protagonist, Ikeban Kasuga. The combat system is surprisingly deep, with a variety of job classes and abilities that allow for strategic battles. The story is also engaging, with a mix of serious drama and lighthearted humor that keeps things interesting. One of the standout features of the game is its vibrant and detailed open world. The city of Yokohama feels alive, with a variety of shops, restaurants, and activities to explore. The game also features a variety of side quests and mini-games, adding to the overall experience. However, the game is not without its flaws. Some of the combat can feel repetitive, and the pacing can be slow at times. Additionally, the game may not appeal to fans of the series who prefer the traditional brawler combat. Overall, Yakuza, Like a Dragon is a solid entry in the Yakuza series and a great starting point for newcomers. The game's engaging story, deep combat system, and vibrant open world make it a must-play for fans of RPGs and open world games. Bendy and the Dark Revival is a horror game that continues the story of the popular Bendy and the Ink Machine franchise. The game features improved graphics and a more immersive world, but it ultimately falls short of its potential. One of the highlights of the game is its atmosphere and art style. The creepy, black and white world of the game is both haunting and beautiful, and the use of lighting and sound is effective in creating a tense and eerie experience. However, the game's story and gameplay are lacking. The puzzles are often simplistic, and the story is disjointed and confusing. The game also suffers from technical issues, such as long load times and occasional crashes. Overall, Bendy and the Dark Revival is a game that excels in its atmosphere and art style, but falls short in its story and gameplay. Fans of the franchise may enjoy it for its continuation of the story, but those new to the series may find it underwhelming. Road 96 is an intriguing narrative-driven game that puts players in the shoes of a teenager trying to escape a fictional authoritarian country by hitchhiking along a dangerous road. The game's multiple choice system and branching paths offer a variety of outcomes, making each playthrough feel unique. The game's graphics are colorful and stylized, with a retro-inspired aesthetic that fits the game's nostalgic 90-second setting. The game's soundtrack is also exceptional, featuring an eclectic mix of music that captures the game's sense of adventure and danger. The game's storytelling is its strongest aspect, with well-written characters and dialogue that keep the player engaged throughout their journey. The game's themes of freedom and rebellion are timely and thought-provoking, making the game feel more relevant than ever. However, the game's gameplay mechanics can feel repetitive at times, particularly when it comes to the game's mini-games and repetitive dialogue options. The game's pacing may also feel slow for some players looking for a more action-packed experience. Overall, Road 96 is a captivating and immersive game that offers a unique take on storytelling and player choice. Despite its occasional gameplay issues and slow pacing, the game's writing, graphics, and music make it a must-play for fans of narrative-driven games. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is an action-adventure game that follows the journey of Cal Kestis, a former Jedi Padawan who is on the run from the Empire. The game offers a satisfying mix of exploration, combat, and puzzle solving, all set in the iconic Star Wars universe. The combat system is the highlight of the game, with a focus on parrying and dodging that requires skill and strategy. The game also offers a variety of force powers that can be upgraded throughout the game. The game's story is engaging, with a mix of new and familiar characters that fit seamlessly into the Star Wars canon. The game's use of light and dark side choices also adds to the replayability and depth of the experience. However, the game does have its flaws. The game's exploration can feel repetitive at times, and the game's performance on some platforms can be inconsistent. Overall, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a great addition to the Star Wars gaming universe. The game's engaging story, satisfying combat system, and immersive world make it a must-play for fans of the franchise and action-adventure games in general. DJMAX Respect V is a music rhythm game that offers a huge library of songs and a variety of gameplay modes. The game features excellent music, stylish visuals, and a responsive control system. One of the highlights of the game is its extensive library of music, which includes songs from previous entries in the series as well as new additions. The game's graphics are also impressive, with colorful and flashy visuals that match the beat of the music. The gameplay is easy to pick up, but difficult to master, with a variety of difficulty levels to cater to both newcomers and veterans of the genre. The game also offers a variety of modes, including online multiplayer and a challenging campaign mode. However, the game's user interface can be overwhelming and confusing, and some of the gameplay modes feel repetitive. The game also lacks any sort of tutorial, which may make it difficult for newcomers to the genre to get started. Overall, DJMAX Respect V is a great addition to the music rhythm game genre, with its excellent music library, stylish visuals, and responsive controls. While the game may not be perfect, it's definitely worth checking out for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a fun and challenging game to play. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 is a first-person shooter game that puts players in the role of a contract sniper. The game features a variety of missions, each with multiple objectives and paths to completion. One of the highlights of the game is the variety of weapons and tools available to players, which can be customized and upgraded to suit different playstyles. The game also features a new range-finding mechanic that adds to the realism and challenge of sniping. The game's graphics are impressive, with detailed environments and character models that add to the immersion. The game's sound design is also noteworthy, with realistic weapon sounds and ambient noise that add to the tension and atmosphere. However, the game's AI can be frustrating at times, with enemies sometimes being too easy to take down and other times being overly difficult. The game's story is also forgettable, with little to no character development or narrative depth. Overall, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 is a solid addition to the series, with its variety of missions, customization options, and realistic sniping mechanics. While the game may not be perfect, it's definitely worth checking out for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a fun and challenging shooter game. Hades is a roguelike action game that his players take on the role of Zagreus, the prince of the underworld, as he attempts to escape his father's domain. The game features fast-paced combat, challenging gameplay, and a unique narrative structure. The combat system is the highlight of the game, with a variety of weapons and abilities that can be upgraded throughout the game. The game also features a unique boon system, which allows players to receive special abilities from the gods of Olympus. The game's narrative is also noteworthy, with a deep and engaging story that unfolds through multiple playthroughs. The game's characters are well written and the voice acting is top-notch. However, the game's difficulty may be a turn-off for some players, as it can be unforgiving and require a lot of trial and error to progress. Additionally, the game's visual design may not appeal to everyone, as it has a cartoonish art style that some may find off-putting. Overall, Hades is a fantastic game that combines challenging gameplay, engaging storytelling, and excellent presentation. It's a must-play for fans of the roguelike genre or anyone looking for a unique and satisfying gaming experience. Left 4 Dead 2 is a cooperative first-person shooter game that pits players against hordes of zombies in various campaigns. The game features fast-paced gameplay, intense action, and a variety of weapons and items to help players survive. One of the highlights of the game is its AI director system, which dynamically adjusts the game's difficulty based on the player's performance. This creates a unique and challenging experience that keeps the gameplay fresh and exciting. The game's graphics are also noteworthy, with detailed environments and character models that add to the immersion. The game's sound design is also excellent, with realistic weapon sounds and ambient noise that add to the tension and atmosphere. However, the game's lack of single-player content may be a downside for some players, as the game is primarily designed for cooperative play. Additionally, the game's focus on replayability may not appeal to everyone, as the campaigns can become repetitive after multiple playthroughs. Overall, Left 4 Dead 2 is a fantastic cooperative shooter game that delivers intense action and challenging gameplay. It's a must-play for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a fun and thrilling gaming experience. Deep Rock Galactic is a cooperative first-person shooter game that takes place in space mines. The game features procedurally generated levels, challenging gameplay, and a variety of classes to choose from, each with unique abilities. The game's focus on teamwork and cooperation is a highlight, as players must work together to complete objectives and survive against hordes of alien creatures. The game's mechanics, such as mining for resources and upgrading equipment, add to the strategic depth of the gameplay. The game's graphics are also noteworthy, with detailed environments and character models that add to the immersion. The game's sound design is also excellent, with ambient noise and voice acting that add to the atmosphere. However, the game's difficulty may be a downside for some players, as it can be unforgiving and require a lot of teamwork and strategy to succeed. Additionally, the game's repetitive missions may become tiresome after multiple playthroughs. Overall, Deep Rock Galactic is a fantastic cooperative shooter game that delivers challenging gameplay and a unique space mining theme. It's a must-play for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a fun and engaging cooperative gaming experience. Subnautica is a survival game that takes place on an alien ocean planet. The game features a vast underwater world to explore, with diverse marine life and resources to collect. One of the highlights of the game is its sense of exploration and discovery, as players must venture deeper into the ocean to uncover new creatures, resources, and secrets. The game's crafting and base building mechanics add to the strategic depth of the gameplay, as players must manage resources and build structures to survive. The game's graphics are also noteworthy, with beautiful underwater environments and realistic creature designs that add to the immersion. The game's sound design is also excellent, with ambient noise and music that add to the atmosphere. However, the game's slow pacing and lack of clear objectives may be a downside for some players, as it requires patience and exploration to progress. Additionally, the game's survival mechanics, such as managing food and water, may not appeal to all players. Overall, Subnautica is a fantastic survival game that delivers a unique and immersive underwater experience. It's a must-play for fans of exploration and survival games, and anyone looking for a beautiful and engaging gaming experience. American Truck Simulator is a simulation game that puts players in the driver's seat of a big rig truck as they traverse the highways of America. The game features a realistic driving experience, complete with detailed truck models and realistic physics. One of the highlights of the game is its focus on the open road and the sense of freedom it provides. Players can take on jobs and deliveries across the country, earning money and upgrading their truck as they go. The game's attention to detail and authenticity, such as accurate depictions of real-world landmarks, adds to the immersion. The game's graphics and sound design are also noteworthy, with detailed environments and realistic sound effects that add to the atmosphere of the game. However, the game's slow pace and lack of variety may be a downside for some players, as it can become repetitive over time. Additionally, the game's focus on realism may not appeal to those looking for more action-packed or fast-paced gameplay. Overall, American Truck Simulator is a fantastic simulation game that delivers a realistic and engaging truck driving experience. It's a must-play for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a relaxing and immersive gaming experience. Don't Starve Together is a survival game that takes place in a dark and eerie world filled with dangerous creatures and resources to gather. The game can be played solo or cooperatively with friends, making it an excellent option for those looking for both single-player and multiplayer experiences. One of the highlights of the game is its unique art style, which combines a hand-drawn aesthetic with a dark and foreboding atmosphere. The game's mechanics, such as crafting and base building, add to the strategic depth of the gameplay, as players must manage their resources and work together to survive. The game's sound design is also noteworthy, with eerie sound effects and music that add to the overall atmosphere of the game. Additionally, the game's frequent updates and additions keep the gameplay fresh and engaging. However, the game's difficulty level may be a downside for some players, as it requires careful planning and strategy to survive. Additionally, the game's focus on survival may not appeal to those looking for more action-packed gameplay. Overall, Don't Starve Together is a fantastic survival game that delivers a unique and engaging experience, both solo and cooperatively. It's a must-play for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a challenging and atmospheric gaming experience. Risk of Rain 2 is a fast-paced, action-packed roguelike game that delivers an intense and engaging experience. The game features 3D graphics, which may be a departure from the original's 2D style, but more than makes up for it in its immersive gameplay. One of the highlights of the game is its replayability, with procedurally generated levels and enemies that ensure no two playthroughs are the same. The game's mechanics, such as unlocking new characters and items, add to the depth of the gameplay, providing plenty of incentive for players to keep coming back. The game's sound design is also noteworthy, with an excellent soundtrack and sound effects that add to the overall atmosphere of the game. However, the game's difficulty may be a downside for some players, as it can be punishingly hard at times. Additionally, the game's 3D graphics may not appeal to fans of the original game's 2D style. Overall, Risk of Rain 2 is a fantastic roguelike game that delivers an exciting and challenging experience. It's a must-play for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a fast-paced and immersive gaming experience. Psychonauts 2 is a highly anticipated platformer that doesn't disappoint. The game features imaginative level design, quirky characters, and a captivating story that will keep you engaged from start to finish. One of the highlights of the game is its clever use of psychic powers, which add a unique twist to the platforming genre. The game's mechanics, such as upgrading powers and unlocking new abilities, provide plenty of depth to the gameplay. The game's art style is also noteworthy, with colorful and detailed environments that are a joy to explore. The game's sound design is equally impressive, with a fantastic soundtrack and voice acting that brings the characters to life. However, the game's difficulty may be a downside for some players, as certain levels can be frustratingly challenging. Additionally, the game's pacing can be uneven at times, with some levels feeling rushed while others drag on. Overall, Psychonauts 2 is a fantastic platformer that delivers a fun and imaginative experience. It's a must-play for fans of the genre or anyone looking for a quirky and charming game. Resident Evil Village is a thrilling horror game that delivers a creepy and atmospheric experience. The game features stunning visuals, with detailed environments and character models that enhance the sense of immersion. One of the highlights of the game is its varied gameplay, which includes exploration, puzzle solving, and combat. The game's mechanics, such as crafting and upgrading weapons, add depth to the gameplay and provide plenty of incentive for players to explore. The game's sound design is also noteworthy, with a chilling soundtrack and sound effects that add to the overall atmosphere of the game. The voice acting is also excellent, with convincing performances from the entire cast. However, the game's pacing may be a downside for some players, as certain sections can feel slow or drawn out. Additionally, the game's story may not be as engaging for players who are not invested in the Resident Evil franchise. Overall, Resident Evil Village is a must-play for horror fans and a solid entry in the Resident Evil franchise. With its stunning visuals, varied gameplay, and creepy atmosphere, it delivers a thrilling experience that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is a challenging action-adventure game that rewards players who are willing to put in the time to master its mechanics. The game features intense sword-fighting combat, clever level design, and a fascinating story that takes place in feudal Japan. One of the highlights of the game is its unique resurrection mechanic, which allows players to come back to life after being defeated in combat. The game's mechanics, such as the ability to parry and counterattack, provide plenty of depth to the combat and make it incredibly satisfying when executed correctly. The game's visuals are also impressive, with detailed character models and environments that bring the world to life. The game's sound design is equally noteworthy, with a haunting soundtrack and sound effects that add to the overall atmosphere of the game. However, the game's difficulty may be a downside for some players, as certain boss fights can be frustratingly challenging. Additionally, the game's lack of variety in environments and enemies may make it feel repetitive for some players. Overall, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is a must-play for fans of challenging action games. With its intense combat, clever level design, and fascinating story, it's a game that will keep you engaged from start to finish. Devil May Cry 5 is a thrilling action game that is packed with stylish combat and over-the-top action. Players take control of 3 different characters, each with their own unique combat styles, as they battle against demons in a world on the brink of destruction. The game's combat system is both deep and accessible, with plenty of moves and abilities to unlock and master. Players are also encouraged to experiment with different weapons and combos, making each playthrough feel fresh and exciting. The game's graphics are stunning, with detailed character models, beautiful environments, and impressive special effects. The sound design is also top-notch, with a great soundtrack and excellent voice acting. However, the game's story can be confusing at times, especially for players who are new to the series. Additionally, some of the game's boss fights can be frustratingly difficult, which may turn off some players. Overall, Devil May Cry 5 is a must-play for fans of action games. Its stylish combat, beautiful graphics, and excellent sound design make it a thrilling and satisfying experience. Despite its flaws, it's a game that is sure to provide hours of fun for fans of the genre. Spiritfarer Farewell Edition is a charming and emotional game that puts players in the role of a ferrymaster who must guide lost souls to the afterlife. The game's gorgeous visuals and heartwarming story make it a unique and unforgettable experience. The game's core gameplay revolves around managing resources, building and upgrading your ship, and completing various tasks for the game's quirky and lovable characters. Each character has their own unique story to tell, and the game does an excellent job of making players care about them. The game's hand-drawn art style is absolutely stunning, with colorful and detailed environments that are a joy to explore. The soundtrack is also excellent, with a mix of relaxing and emotional music that perfectly complements the game's themes. However, the game's slow pacing may not be for everyone, and some players may find themselves wishing for more challenging gameplay. Additionally, the game's controls can be a bit clunky at times, which can be frustrating during certain sections. Overall, Spiritfarer Farewell Edition is a touching and beautiful game that is perfect for players who enjoy games with a strong narrative and a focus on character relationships. While it may not be for everyone, those who give it a chance are sure to be rewarded with a unique and memorable experience. Human Fall Flat is a physics-based puzzle game that follows the journey of a wobbly and clumsy character through a variety of creative and challenging obstacles. The game's unique physics system and quirky art style make it a standout title in the puzzle genre. The puzzles are well designed and require players to use their problem-solving skills to progress through each level. The game also offers a co-opus mode, which adds an extra layer of fun and challenge to the gameplay. The game's visuals are simple but charming, with a distinct cartoonish style that fits the game's lighthearted and whimsical tone. The game's soundtrack is also enjoyable, with music that perfectly matches the game's atmosphere. However, the game's controls can be frustrating at times, particularly when it comes to precise movements and navigating tight spaces. The game's length may also disappoint some players looking for more content. Overall, Human Fall Flat is a delightful and enjoyable game that offers a unique take on puzzle solving. Despite its occasional control issues and length, the game's charm and creativity make it a worthwhile experience for fans of the genre. And that's it for part 1 of our Steam Spring Sale 2023 recommendations. We hope you found some great games to add to your wishlist. Don't forget to let us know in the comments which games you're most excited to pick up, and stay tuned for part 2 of our recommendations. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more great gaming content. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.